If you didn't know it, behind the scenes there are plans to get us away from natural food sources and to slowly make people more and more dependent on things like insect proteins, lab grown meats, and human lab grown meat. Incredibly dystopian situation that we live in now. And these lab grown meats are they are being rolled out now. It's my understanding that KFC is now using some of this stuff. And you're not necessarily going to know it. You're just going to be getting a product, and unless you know the code words to look for in the ingredients, you won't be aware of what you're consuming. And let's be real, in a lot of cases, some of these products aren't even labeled as such. These lab grown meats are pretty disgusting. In a lot of cases, they're using cancerous cells because cancer cells reproduce out of control, and that rapid growth rate is highly desirable for, growing these protein substitute artificial food sources, food in quotation marks. In order to whet people's appetite for these bug proteins, uh, synthetic human meat, and lab grown meats, though, something has to be done. We have to destroy the supply of natural meats. We got to destroy the supply of natural beef. We got to destroy the supply of natural chicken. And what better way to do that than fear mongering surrounding a bird flu? Well, the problem with this flu, bird flu, is it's not communicable human to human currently. And nobody that I'm aware of has died of this thing. And it's not actually even affecting natural populations of birds, even. The authorities just want to be proactive about preventing this thing from getting out of control, even though it's not really a threat to begin with. And so they're mass testing animals, and my theory on this is that these test kits may actually be imparting some kind of disease to the animals in the first place. You can't trust the health authorities anymore, so we don't really know that they're operating in good faith. But they want to mass test healthy animals and cull healthy animals just in case. And if you have been paying attention over the last several years to strange happenings, you may be aware that there have been literally thousands of strange incidents that look an awful lot like sabotage that relate to the food supply in this country, especially relating to beef cattle, dairy cattle, chickens, and then manufacturing of staple foods. It's getting weird. It's getting really weird, folks. And I have mentioned in some of my other videos that we can expect a major concerted attack on the food supply that's going to come right from the powers that be, from the government. And they're going to use things like the bird flu to justify wasting and slaughtering, culling millions of chickens and cows. It's you know, I've mentioned in another video, growing up in America, you get to eat meat more often than probably people in most other places of the world do. You get to have a steak every once in a while, and grilled chicken and barbecued chicken, and it's it's good. It's it's been a a privilege, really, that people historically haven't always had. But the chickens, especially, they're going to target because chickens are easy to raise, doesn't require a lot to feed them, and then eggs are an incredibly good food source. And very useful for other things too, by the way. Tilapia and chickens have kind of this reciprocal thing where tilapia love chicken eggs, chickens love tilapia scraps. Tilapia is a white fish, and so you can raise both and utilize their various products to feed the other. And both are great food items. But anyway, this bird flu thing's not going away. They have plans for it. And there's this International Bird Flu Summit. I don't know where this is being held. It's probably listed out on this website, but oh, look at this. All these women of color from leftist cities and municipalities. Huh, how interesting. I wonder if the International Bird Flu Summit is going to be politicized or not. Well, anyways, this is just massively ridiculous. And, if you're someone who's homesteading or planning to try to be more independent and you have a little bit of land, now would be a good time to get some chickens if that's something that you have thought about doing in the past. I don't have chickens myself, but I've helped families in I've chicken sat. Let's just put it that way. Is that a? It's not a word. It is a word now. I have chicken sat on numerous occasions for different people that I've known, and they're not tremendously hard to care for, and they produce a surprising amount of eggs. If you have a couple dozen chickens, it could be the difference between survival and not for your family in times to come. Not to mention that chicken is just natural chicken. It might be going away. Same with natural beef. If you want it, you're gonna have to start raising it yourself, and it might get to the point where you just can't get chickens even to begin to start your own flock to raise them. There is no doubt in my mind that the powers that be are going to start systematically culling chicken. It'll start with the large operations, and you'll just see less and less of it at supermarkets and stuff. And actually, we're already there. I go over to I have a little Walmart neighborhood market, literally a stone's throw from where I live. And I go down there, and it's turkey, 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 turkey. Very little chicken available anymore. Used to be chicken was plentiful, easy to find, and affordable, and that's not really the case anymore. And yeah, they're coming after the chicken first, then it will be beef, and then it will eventually be other things as well. And there is an agenda behind this. I've talked about this before. It's a religious agenda. Ties into paganism and, Mother Earth, goddess worship, and Luciferian mystery religion. It's a doctrine of devils prohibiting the eating of meats. The Bible says the eating of meats is completely acceptable as long as it's done with thanksgiving. Of course, when that was written in the scriptures, they only had natural meat. They didn't have genetically modified stuff. They didn't have lab-grown human meat. They didn't have artificial. Did I say lab-grown human meat? Yeah, lab-grown meat and artificial human meat. They're kind of two different things, but similar in that they're abhorrent and open a door, I think, to a great many other evils. I've said this elsewhere. As soon as you start expecting human protein to be in the food supply, and they're going to accomplish this by rolling out these artificial human meats. But as soon as human meat is out there in the food supply, it gives them a cover for actually starting to take undesirables out of society and recycling them into food. And for those of you who are aware that science fiction is often predictive in nature, I will just point you at the classic movie Soylent Green, and I think it was a novel as well back in the day, I believe. This idea has been around for a while, and those who rule over us, it's let's face it, it's kind of a wet dream for them. They do this with cattle already. They take downer cattle, grind it up, and they feed those downer cattle, those cattle that are sick or diseased or what have you, they feed that to other cattle as a protein source. It is unnatural, it is disgusting, and it is the cause of diseases which otherwise would not exist, like what is it? BSE, I believe, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or yeah, that's correct, or better known as mad cow disease. This wouldn't exist. The prions, or bad proteins, are formed when cattle eat nervous system tissue of their own, and then you have, kuru and various other forms of this type of disease in humans as well, especially in cultures where cannibalism is practiced as part of their religious system or culture. Yeah, so here we go. International Bird Flu Summit. And it's early in October. Well, how about that? I guess someone up there, higher in the pecking order, pun not intended, than myself, is foreseeing that bird flu is going to be around for a while, and it's going to be a big problem. Big problem, of course, being in quotation marks. Well, pay attention to what's going on, and I hope you're getting ready. I keep saying food independence. When things really get ugly, you're not going to be able to depend on supermarkets or the supply chain. What food and water do you have available to you? Do you have stuff just stockpiled for an emergency? That's good. Or are you producing your own via a garden or having animals or a small homestead, or what have you? Things could get out of control very quickly. Very quickly. Well, I hope you have found this to be interesting. Good luck. God bless.